365 Sports. And JJ, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Obviously, Saturday was so impressive. And I mean, across the board, they just tied up Oklahoma like a pretzel. Among everything you watched and watching with Gary Bohannon, they unleashed him a little bit more with his legs. Your thoughts about how he bounced back from TCU?
Hey, guys, thanks for being patient with me. You know, I got this thing called work that I keep messing with. With me every day.
I'll be in touch, yeah.
I got you. Hey, you know, Craig, I mean, it was a fantastic performance. I know you guys have probably analyzed it multiple ways, but I thought going in, I thought Baylor was the better team. And I said this before, I talked to John Warner and told him I was more concerned about the TCU game than I was OU. And I thought that Baylor was 10 to 14 points better than OU. And that just wasn't a brag. That was just kind of watching Baylor week in, week out, having seen OU a handful of times just on TV, and watching a little bit of video. So a great performance. I am so impressed by Coach Arand and his staff in the midst of losing Joey McGuire, that they kept the kids focused, the young men focused, and that they addressed the things that were very apparent from the TCU game. From game planning to execution. So I was really duly impressed, and I'm hoping we carry that over to Manhattan this Saturday.
JJ, one of the things that impressed me about this coaching staff is they certainly have a game plan, but they're not afraid to go, all right, let's just do something new. Let's call some design runs for Gary in the second half because it looks like it's there.
No, that's going into the locker room. I'll tell you, to give you a picture of a locker room, when you go in and you only have about 20 minutes, and that 20 minutes goes by fast. And I have buddies tell me NFL is even shorter than that. But you go in, they give you the coach's huddle. They give you maybe about 5 to 6 minutes to just kind of decompress, take your pads off, drink some Gatorade, do whatever, get some treatment. And then they pull you together for about another 5 to 7, 8, 9 minutes. And typically it's with your position coaches. And they're going over what the adjustments are, or then telling you, hey, look, the stuff we practiced on for half the week that we haven't run, we're going to start running it. And really, you could tell that they saw something that they probably had worked on some that was available based on how OU was playing defense, especially. And so that's all of a sudden in the second half. When you saw that Gary run, I think we've seen that before. It may have been just off a little different blocking scheme, but that was a fantastic adjustment. And really, it put OU in a pickle. Really, Grinch couldn't do anything because if he was going to play base, Abram was going to go for $1.50. If he played, if he tried to do the stunt, then Gary was going to go for $1.50. And then all of a sudden, if they try to play press man, you still had Taekwon and those guys on the outside. So he was really put in a pickle, and it just worked out, and it was executed beautifully.
JJ, how much of that success, too, was just Gary's running style? It seemed like he had a lot more confidence. Aranda used the word intentionality and just, poise in running the football and being physical with it. We've seen him, have a few carries here and there, but, maybe go down a little easier, not break a tackle. He was breaking tackles. He was, laying hits on guys. How much was just him kind of having that confidence behind his running ability?
Hey, 110%. I'm going to tell you, Gary doesn't really realize yet how much of a dude he is. I think he kind of knows, but I don't think he really, really knows. This guy's 6'3", 220, and most people, especially when he gets past the second level, and a lot of these second level dudes are 6'1", 220, 6'2", 197. They don't want to tackle Gary if he has, any level of bigger coming at him. So, I think really Coach has to consider with Gary getting him involved in the running game early in the game. To me, just from observing Gary for 10 weeks, he has been told you need to be a pocket guy. He's probably been told you're a great athlete, but, right? And you can tell that he'll sit in the pocket. He has a presence. He's calm. He doesn't rush things. He'll go through his progressions. Matter of fact, sometimes you want him to speed it up. So he's been told that, I think. I think something's been put in his head that he needs to prove people he's a pocket guy. But the one thing Gary has that most pocket guys don't have is he can go get it with his feet if he has to. So I'm hoping that they start calling runs for him early just to get him mentally into the game. get him aggressively into the game, and then back him into kind of being a pocket guy. So, I mean, he's a load.
So they have had losses on the road to Oklahoma State, losses on the road, of course, in Fort Worth, the stench from a couple of weekends ago, and now they go into Manhattan, and that is not by any means. They're really good, and you know that, JJ, and they've been on a run of 5 straight games. How difficult is it to play in Manhattan? It's a late afternoon game that turns into a night game.
I don't know. What is the weather forecast? Tell me that. Anybody know the weather forecast for Manhattan on Saturday?
Well,
I can get that to you in about 30 seconds.
I want to tell you.
All right, now I'm gonna give him 30 seconds. Let him.
All right.
Hey, Smoak. This is my thought. In my humble opinion, Kansas State will be, of course, one of the toughest games they play. That goes without saying. Baylor doesn't lose again until they play in the Big 12 championship game. That's my humble opinion. And you ask me why. And the reason I'm saying why is because, number one, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. They'll be told all week, about their inability to win on the road or their struggles on the road at TCU, at Oklahoma State. And I got a feeling that when you beat a program like OU, it's kind of like the night when we beat Colorado finally. We stubbed our toe at Rice like they stubbed their toe at TCU. Mm-hmm. There's a level of kind of like, okay, we're good. That just comes across. And I think this team on Saturday finally got that feeling like, yeah, we beat UT, but, UT got beat by whoever. Yeah, we beat Iowa State, but now they're 6-4. But now you beat OU. And I know you hadn't, we could say that hadn't played anybody, but everything that goes with OU. I don't think Kansas State beats this thing. Can they beat us? Yes. If we go out and turn the ball over, I don't think Kansas State beats us. It's tough up there. It's going to be 50,000, 50. I think it holds 55. It'll be tough. It'll be an afternoon into a night game. Skylar Thompson is get going. They got little Deuce, who's going to be a monster. They got a couple guys on the edge that can play, but they shouldn't beat us. I think Baylor wins by 7-10. It won't be a blowout. And then I think we come home and it's surviving Joey and any secrets he's told them. But I think this team smells Big 12 championship. My feeling is that Baylor makes the Big 12 championship game. I just got a feeling OU has one more in them. And then they get a rematch probably. And I think they smell it. You got too many veterans on this team that smell it. They've been to a championship game and they have a bad taste in their mouth. They want another shot. Can they lose? Yes. Will they lose? In my humble opinion, they won't. And I hope I'm true. I may eat crow next week, Smoak, but I feel that for this team.
High of 60, low of 36 on Saturday in Manhattan, Kansas. So, yeah.
Oh, no. When is that 36 now? Is that 36 at the beginning? Or
it looks like, when the game starts, it's going to be closer to 60. And by the time the second half arrives, I think that you're going to see temps starting to drop a little bit with that 4:30 kickoff time. So, yeah, towards the end, it'll start to cool off, it looks like.
Oh, we're good. We're good. As long as we're not blustery in the 20s. Hey, number one, the windows will be open because J-Mo loves windows open, so I'm good. And I think they ought to be good.
Yeah, JJ, it says calm wind around 5 miles an hour. So,
that's good. Perfect.
A calm wind that's just going to wash over you and kind of invade your soul. Just let you relax like you're in a yoga class or something.
I'll have my jacket on, so I'm good.
JJ, defensively, there's been a couple areas that have been of concern for Baylor football. Throughout the season, it's been generating that pass rush up front with their linemen, and not only that, but also those guys not trying to play hero ball and sticking to their gaps, sticking to their assignments, and playing team football. And that's something that Aranda was really praiseworthy of on Saturday. And that secondary has also taken some lumps as well, and had the bad performance against TCU, where Chandler Morris just played a great game, but I think those two units maybe played, their best games of the entire year on Saturday. I mean, it certainly looked like the secondary was motivated. There's not an OU receiver to speak of coming out of that game. And, we know what happened with Caleb Williams and Kennedy Brooks as well up front.
Yeah, you're right. And think about it. The TCU game, the big picture, as bad as they played, Baylor should have still won. Should have had a chance to kick a field goal and win. We all know that. Gary had a misread. Okay, they beat us. They got home on Chandler Morris a few times. I don't know what we were trying to do. I don't know if we were trying to eliminate his existence or what we were trying to do, but we did everything but get him to the ground. And that young man played an excellent game that day. But I think you saw the correction. Against OU, they made a huge correction. These guys stayed in their lanes when they got a chance to get home on whether it was Caleb Williams, Spencer Rattler. They got him to the ground. They moved him. And the big thing more than anything with Caleb Williams, they made him kind of stay in the pocket for the most part and be a pocket passer. Or when he ran, he had, I think, a couple, 2 or 3 runs. But they really didn't try to overcommit and over-rush him. I love that. Coach fixed that. And I said this after the game. This coaching staff and these players are marriage made in heaven, because what Aranda talks about, he has a plan how to fix it. And it's not just an overarching plan. It's a detailed tactical approach during the week. These players have bought in hook, line, and sinker, and it's fixed the next week. He says penalty is a problem. 2 weeks later, it's fixed. They have a game without any. The pass rush is a problem. It's fixed. They put pressure without having to over blitz against OU. Then he's talking about focus. He's been focused on focus and not having to have a big game to play at a high level. I got a feeling if his history stays true to what we've seen, they will be highly focused. They will start fast, and they'll play a very tough Kansas team, and they will fix those things that they need to be fixed. And I think defensively, they'll miss some guys. Christian Morgan, in my humble opinion, won't play. I don't know what the report has been. He went out early. We didn't see him. And then Kalen Barnes, he left too. I'd be surprised if he played. So, Devin Neal will have to play well. Jeremy McVay will have to play. Mark Milton, they're going to have to play. But I think Coach has shown us, that, things he talks about, they'll fix them, and the guys they'll produce.
It's kind of like he's in year 10 and not year 2 of being a head coach, isn't it?
It is, man. I think I was talking to somebody, but anyway, Paul, I said, man, the thing I like about this dude is, he's a football coach, period. That's it. And I don't mean the old ball coach that has little tight shorts and, wanted to yell at you. I'm talking about the guy that he's more interested in developing young men, making better men, coaching football, the details of football, putting together a unit, and that matters more. There's a lot of guys who like to be head coaches. Nothing wrong with it. Coach Tapp was a head coach. He's a footballer, but he was a head coach. I thought Art Browse was a quasi-football coach and head coach. Aranda is just a football coach, and I love it because he is so enamored with the details and what it takes to be good that eventually you just are good because he knows how to get you there. So, it's amazing to watch, man. It's amazing to watch.
I will remember this from today. Eliminate his existence.
They tore Superman's cape off and set it on fire on Saturday.
JJ, enjoy that. That actually, we just looked at the forecast. It's 14 degrees. Wind chill at -5.
Is that a blizzard coming in on Saturday?
Hey, see, Smoak, did Ricky text in or did John call in?
Yeah. Ricky said, hell no, I'm going to be on the sideline. Those guys are up in the booth.
Hey, did you guys get any before, off the air, just hear Ricky and his microphone during the field storming the other day? Because I would have given anything to hear that actual just Ricky saying, "Oh my God, what's going on down here?"
No, you know what? He was positioning himself, I think, close to like the tunnel. So I think he got out of the big rush. But he did say that he was about to throw a couple punches because I think he was there's 5 or 6 of them coming right at him.
JJ, we have appreciated it and throughout. We hope to have you on some more. Thank you very much for the insight and experience of what you see. Baylor and Kansas State Saturday afternoon, 4:30 at Bill Snyder
Thank you, guys.
Family Stadium up in Manhattan, Kansas. Okay, 4:54 is the time.
Here's a random little thing. Saw UCF just changed their logo. It just, not a big deal, not a breaking news story, but I just saw UCF tweeted out a little while ago. They've slightly changed their logo, and the knight is now, rather than the side profile, is now staring straight ahead. It looks good. I think it does look better than the old one too. But that's what we'll be seeing a lot of here in the next few years. Going to Orlando and them coming to Waco. But just a little thing right there.
June or July of 2023, when the Big 12 is going to have, obviously with UCF and Cincinnati, Houston, and Brigham Young, and who else happens to be a part of that at some point. It's going to be refreshing. I love the history of Oklahoma football. I love what Texas, as far as their tradition, although they have been down for basically a decade or more. They wanted to leave. They're leaving. They both are right now trying to figure out how to win a game in the Big 12. Not Oklahoma. They're 9-1. But one thing about the tiebreaker, with what is on the table, doesn't Baylor need Oklahoma to beat Oklahoma State?
No, they need.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
I think so.
Why would Baylor need Oklahoma to beat Oklahoma
They don't want to
State?
have. They don't want to have Oklahoma State as the tie.
Well,
no, they want to have
no,
Oklahoma
they have
State beat
Oklahoma
Oklahoma.
State, yeah.
They don't want to have the tiebreaker. They could be left out. They could win their last two. Oklahoma State and Oklahoma can win this weekend, and then if Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State, they'll play again. Am I right?
Yeah. So
Because
The
of the
simplest thing
tiebreaker.
for Baylor is to win their next two games and
figure it
then
out.
wait for Iowa State or Oklahoma State to beat Oklahoma. That's like the clearest path. And you know what? They could both beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma could beat both them. So, I mean, that Iowa State game this weekend is going to be a really fun watch. Can't wait to see that game. Iowa State and OU, and then, of course, Bedlam. I mean, especially if OU wins this weekend, that Bedlam game is going to be on a totally different level than it's been in a long time.
Yeah, and so, I mean, so many great Bedlam games that had nothing to do with whoever was going to win the Big 12 because Oklahoma had either already sealed it up or Oklahoma State wasn't in it and still played a great game. But or like one team was in it, mostly Oklahoma and not Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State could just play spoiler. But now, I mean, this is for all the marbles. You know,
All right,
I love it.
Potentially.
Coming up,
potentially,
Kansas State, that's who Baylor plays next. We're going to hear from John Kurtz, KMAN Radio in Manhattan. Also has done some work with Kansas State Athletics with broadcast as well. And he's next on Sikkim 365 Radio. Alan Samuels, Dodge Chrysler.